Good evening. Yesterday we looked at how do we create div and give the colors and how we can add style. Um, and you see the output. If you don't see this video, please go back and see how to create a div, because div is going to be the building block for HTMLs. Without div, you cannot create nice website. And this video we will see how you can do a little bit of um, more styling on the div, and how we can move our div and align the div. So if you look at div, I did not specify any position here. You just simply see here um, HTML head and body and uses style for div. Basically, it says the background color and height and width and the font size inside the inside the div. Now let's see. So a default, if you look at the div, it just starts from here, right? And if you want to move the div, basically, as I said, it's a container. If you want to move the container a little bit here or below or above, how do you move it? That's what we're going to see today. And okay, so for that we have the property called margin. So basically what the margin is, you can give them add the margin, which means that you see div, around the div, what's the space you can give or you can place the div, which means that margin top says what's the length or the pixel you need to give the space, margin left, margin bottom, margin right. So let's say, for example, margin left. I say keep the div 100 pixel away from the starting. I just saved it. Let refresh. Look at that. It just moved 100 pixel. You can keep 200. Look at that. If I want to move little down, so basically here, right, I just given margin left, which means that from here to give here I just given 200 pixel, so it placed the div 200 pixels away. It starts from here. Now if you want to move down, what you have to do is you have to give the margin top, which means that it takes a space between your margin and the top location. Let's try that. Margin top, give 200 pixel. Let me see. Wow, so now you got it. So 200 pixel here and 200 pixel from here. So this way you can move the um, pixels, I mean margin, I mean move the div left and top, or if you want to move from the right or bottom. For example, you have another div here and you need to have a space between that div. You can specify margin top. And there is another property which is pretty much similar to margin, but it's a little different. We call it padding. So padding, we use it to give the space. So similarly space, the only difference is padding we use to give the space for content. For example, I have content here, hello, this is div, but you see here the content starts from the very beginning. So for example, if you want to move little bit on the right side, you have to use padding. Let's say padding left 10 pixel. Let me save it and refresh. Look at that. Now you just see the little space. Next, let me give padding top 20 pixel. Let's see this one. Look at that. So you got 20 pixel space, 20 pixel in the left side. So that's the main difference, because sometimes people get confused between margin and padding. Even I get confused when I started studying HTML. So now you know that how you can move container. It's not just a container. You can move any elements across the page using this margin top, left, and any margin right options. S- I'm sorry, I don't want to save this one. Let me save this one. And so other thing is, we always seen like keep adding the style here. So there's a good option. So I just started here because just to give the idea how we can add style for any object, I mean any tag. But it's a good practice always to keep all the style in the different tag. So now we call it script, I will call it style, close style. So what would happen, what HTML does, it go and look at the style whenever the element you specified here. For example, you can create, it's very, very simple. Let's say dot, I'd say that the element property I'm gonna add here, style property, div style, and open, close. So now what you're going to do, just copy everything. Very, very simple. Now you just give that width, font, margin, padding. So now let me save and try, because I just want to show how it works. Look at that. What happened to the color? Nothing happened, right? So you don't see the color, you don't see the div appear here. It's gone. The reason because you remove from the style. But how do you add this style to your element? So you need to use property or the option called class. So inside the class, it's very simple. You just say, okay, apply this style for this particular div. Let's try now. Wow, you got it right. So it's a good practice, always keep the style, I mean keep the all the style element in style, the style tag instead keeping under the style, because it might be simple and easy to do it, but a good practice to have it in the separate style under the style, because tomorrow you create another div, for example, and you don't need to keep, if you write here, right, you don't need to keep writing other style here. It's very simple, say that class, just reuse this one. That's it. So it will apply this rule here. Hello, new style. Let's see what's happening. Look at that. So you don't need to specify all the properties you given here. We simply reused. Um, so in case you can just, this is the format, you can just keep create any number of style here. One, you can just specify one. Yeah, it's very, very simple. Just to the format, that's it. So you can move the div right, left, and below, top, anywhere using the margin, and you can use the move the content inside the div using padding left. So it says padding left, padding top, padding down, padding right. So it's all up to you, but you can use this padding and margin. You can use together or separate, all up to you. But it's really good to, when you develop a enterprise level application, you normally use this is very often, because you need to place the element in a right place. Otherwise it's we cannot build it right. For example, when you create the layout, you need to keep the layout in a how do you say that, in a keep a layout, like if you have multiple layout, yeah, there are multiple layouts, but if you need to keep the layout proper way, you need to align them properly. So how do you align? So you can use the padding and margin to align your div or the layout. Okay, good. I think today we learned how to move the div, how to give how to create a separate style tag and all the add your properties and just use that property in your div. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be adding other videos to continue with this one and add few more new style upcoming videos. Thank you for watching.